Hey guys, my name is Jake and my partner is Daniel. We are currently standing on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish people, and this is the Goldstream River. The Goldstream River is one of the most well-known rivers on the lower mainland of Vancouver Island and is located at the coordinates of 48, 29, 05 north, 123, 32, 52 west. The river is an integral part to the livelihood of many different species of animals, such as the famous salmon that run up the river every year and give birth to the next generation. Furthermore, the First Nations people of this area depended on the river for food and fresh water and hunted for years. Goldstream River is a river located at the Goldstream Provincial Park near Langford in Victoria, BC. The river source is approximately 630 meters above sea level and is 10.4 kilometers long and flows into the Waff Creek water reservoir. The flow of the river during winter months is 0.6 meters per second squared and 0.2 meters per second during the drier summer months. The surrounding environment of the river is a dense forest with steep hills that run into the river. The river has a source from the Goldstream Lake as well as a saltwater inlet. The Goldstream River features help us conclude it is a meandering river because it travels in a curving, somewhat uniform manner. Here, we can see Mount Finlayson, which sits atop Bear Mountain. When high levels of precipitation are present or snowfall is melting atop these mountains, the western side trails of Mount Finlayson and down onto Bear Mountain become streams of varying discharge which all feed into the Goldstream River and amplify its total discharge. Next, we will be analyzing statistical graphs for this region. First, here is the climate graph for the region of Victoria BC, which is where the Goldstream River flows. We can see that the monthly patterns for temperature and precipitation are opposite, with the highest precipitation measurements taking place in the winter and the highest temperatures in the summertime. The highest month for temperature is August, with July as a close second. Also, the highest month for precipitation is November and December, and January is tied for second. Although the two datasets in this graph are opposite, they are strongly correlated in a sense that when one has a high value, the other is always low, and when is near the means, so is the other. Next, we will observe the hydrograph for this region. The discharge levels are similar to the curve for the monthly precipitation. This is because very little precipitation that falls in Victoria has a chance to freeze. Contrarily, almost all of the precipitation makes its way to the mountain rolls down and ends up in the Goldstream River. This is aided by the fact that every tributary to the lower section of the river resides in the valley between two mountains, so the path for water to get to the river is very efficient. The Goldstream River is surrounded by three mountains which all have a steep gradient. Two of these mountains contribute directly to the Goldstream River. The more it rains, the more water is added to the Goldstream River, as it flows down from the mountains down into the valley where the river is. Because the angle of the surrounding mountains is so high, the Goldstream River will often be relatively deep compared to how wide it is. The river depth provides much more discharge and thus energy compared to its surface footprint than many other rivers, so it has the possibility to carry large and heavy objects such as logs and boulders. Additionally, since the banks of the river are often the bases of hills or mountains, the probability of its banks overflowing are very low, except for the region near the Malhad Highway, where the topography becomes more flat. The first feature we will be observing is an oxbow lake. This one was caused when the river changed course and left a landlocked body of water behind where the river once flowed. In February of 2020, there was a flood that created a log jam in the Goldstream River near the beginning of the Malhad Highway. This altered the flow of the river for some time and created new floodplains and small oxbow lakes, as the new river was at risk of eroding the sides of the highway. It was promptly redirected back to its original course by heavy machinery and crews of workers. Next, we will observe the waterfall, which connects to many tributaries that come from a higher elevation and bring water to the river. At the base of this waterfall, we can see a deep pool of water that has been caused by erosion to the bedrock. Another fluvial feature is the meander, where the river curves at a large angle and changes its direction. These are caused when small disturbances begin erosion of the shore of a river, and the river gradually enlarges their angle of curvature. The end of this process is when an oxbow lake is formed, which was recently discussed. Lastly, we will observe the river delta that resides at the mouth of the Goldstream River and connects it to the Saanich Inlet. At larger scales, these lines are incredibly fertile, as we can see by the Fraser River Delta farms near Vancouver.
Next, we will be exploring the river system from the source up to the delta where it joins with an inlet of the Juan de Fuca Strait. We can see that the headwaters of this river originate from multiple unique sources. The first of these sources is the surface runoff from the Bear and Finlayson Mountains to the east. Additionally, the surface runoff can originate from other places to the west in smaller amounts. Niagara Falls is also a large driver in the total discharge of the river. Our next stop is at the open and slow-moving section of the river where salmon are currently swimming upstream to respawn. The salmon run takes place every year and attracts visitors from all across the province. Moving on to the river delta, the river stream splits into many smaller streams and covers a large area of land. The coverage creates a fertile and healthy place for many animals to call home. Goldstream River is one of the most active and interesting rivers in the Victoria region. It serves as a lifeline to local wildlife, as well as serves the local salmon population as they annually make their way up the river to spawn. The river experiences many of the animal system fluctuations, such as change in discharge rate, flow, and sediment. The river also has many interesting features that all connect together as a whole to create the river system that is the Goldstream River.